Here we are again at Corinthians Golf Club, and we're going to look at two of my 12 shots of golf. And we've so far covered sort of bunker play and what a 20-yard bunker shot would be. We're now going to look at two other 20-yard shots that you get round the green. So one where you might be a reasonable lie, what I'd call a fairway lie, and another one where you might have a rough lie, so you're in the rough a little bit tougher. And what's important to understand is that when you get these two different lies, it does change how much control you've got on the ball. So the data that we've got to show you today is going to change depending on where you're playing that shot from. So we always look at three categories of player. We look at our 18 handicap golfer, we look at our 9 handicap golfer, and we look at our scratch golfer. And we always highlight that on the green with the discs. Maybe not as easy to see, but we'll give you the data anyway today. But what we can see today is the white disc there we've got on the green. We've got two results. So what's important to realise is that you are going to be quite a bit further away, and we're talking for most golfers nearly double the distance that you would be coming off the fairway to coming out of the rough. So if you're coming out of the rough, you're going to be twice as far away to the hole as you would be if you're playing off the fairway. And that's because you've got so much more control coming off the fairway. You're going to get a much cleaner connection, much easier to get spin, get much more control on that side. Okay, so let's look at what we've got here. So 20-yard pitch shot out of the rough. Let's go to my data. Again, things like this, can't remember them always off the top of my head. And let's start with our scratch golfer. Let's look at him and say, okay, on average, if we put himself in this position, how close will we get the ball to the hole? So we have our two shots. So 20-yard shot out of the rough. Okay, on average, he's going to get that ball. He's a scratch golfer, he's a good player, he's going to get it about 10 feet away. But if he was coming from a nice lie, a nice fairway lie, it'd be approximately, I would say, around about 6 feet away. Okay, so now if we look at our sort of, as we said, single figure handicap golfer, we're looking at from the fairway about 8 feet, from the rough 15. So you can see it's nearly doubling as we go through all these shots. And then by the time we get to our 18 handicap golfer, we've gone from 15 feet from coming from the fairway to now getting up to amazingly 30, 35 feet away. So it's being realistic. If you're an 18 handicap golfer and you're playing a lie like this, where it's not a great lie, we're in the rough. I mean, at the end of the day, you're in the rough. It shouldn't be a fantastic lie. Get that ball on the green, 35 feet, get it on the green. I mean, if you can get it, remember what we said, we've done putting and we've looked at that. If you can start to get that ball from here down in 3 shots, you're not losing shots, you're gaining shots. Okay, that's the key thing against other 18 handicap golfers. So realise, find a club that you think, yeah, I've got the chance to get that ball onto the green. So let's look at what we've got here. We've got a shot, we've got a little bit of rough. We've then got a little bit of what we call apron, so nicely mown grass, and then we're on to the green. Okay, and it's now being clever with what choice of shot you're going to play. So look at it, and a lot of people might from here, because they think, well, I'm chipping the ball, I've got to go with something like a sand iron and play the shot out with that. Well, okay, that's fine. If that's what you're comfortable with, go with it. But there are other clubs options you can have. You could go with something like a standard pitching wedge, or you may even use a 7-iron. Find what works for you. Okay, the lie here is not great. Okay, so I wouldn't look at it and think I can get much control on it, but I've got a little bit of work here, a little bit of room here I can work with. So actually, I'm just going to play a 7-iron from this particular lie. And as a scratch golfer, what would be a good result? Well, if I can get it within 10 feet out of the rough, I'm happy with that. So what I would always do, playing the shot, just have a couple of little practice swings just beside the ball. And the reason why I'm doing that out of the rough is because I want to feel how thick the rough is. And if it's like this, it's not too bad. I know the club should go through the rough quite easily. Okay? Again, not looking for power, so I'm just looking to pop this onto the green. Let's see what we get. Okay, so it's a little 7-iron shot, pop it to the edge of the green, let the ball do the rest. Let's see what we get as a result. Now, for me as a scratch golfer, should be approximately 10 feet away. Well, let's go pace it out. Let's see what I've done. Remember, this is my average. So if I've got it within 10 feet, I've done fine. Looks a little bit further than that, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 paces, we're probably looking around about 12, 13 feet. So it's not disastrous. I'd like to be better. Again, if it's a shot you're not good at, you've got to go and practice it more. Okay, now we've got a much better lie. But in this situation, again, I've got nothing really in my way. I'm not actually going to change my club. I'm going to stay with a 7-iron. From there, just pop the ball forward onto the green. Hopefully get a little bit more control, feel a little bit more confident in what I'm going to get. So we're looking, I think the idea was 6 feet away, and that one's rolled down probably to only a foot from the hole. So you can see the difference. Where I had a nice lie, it was much easier to control the ball. I've put the ball within a foot of the hole. Coming out of the rough, a little bit tougher. I've ended up, as I said, outside my area, but it's not that bad. So as long as I keep my mind in a calm state and my level of expectation is right, then what will happen is that will probably increase the chance that I may be able to hole that putt from around about that 12, 13 feet. So remember, look at it from all different levels. So our scratch golfer coming out of the rough, 10 feet, 6 feet from a nice fairway position. We look at our single figure golfer, we're looking around about 15 feet out of the rough and down to about 8 feet if he's coming off a nice lie. Good lie for an 18 handicap golfer is around that 15 feet and then 30 to 35 feet if you're coming out of rough. Remember, if you're shooting around 90 to 100, anything out of the rough on the green, you're doing absolutely fine. Hope those tips helped. Look forward to seeing you soon. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.